Hi everyone, it's me, and today let's watch this video together.
Hey, special thanks to Bob Knight, Kitsune Hawk, and David D'Angelo of Yacht Club Games for making this episode happen.
Thank you. Game exchange, culture shock.
Hey everyone, Gaijin Goomba here.
Hi Gaijin.
I'll just come right out and say it. I can't get enough of Shovel Knight. I honestly think it's become my favorite game to date. I thought I did the game justice in my past Culture Shock episode about it, but thanks to you guys and a little digging, I realized I hadn't even scratched the surface. No pun intended. So today, I want to alleviate that by talking about one of the Order of No Quarter that is going to have his own campaign and future content, Plague Knight. I'll be honest, before I dug into this guy, I really didn't think much about him or his level, but you guys gave me some great leads. And as for my European fans, don't worry, there are no spoilers here. But let's not dawdle. Plague Knight. On the surface, this guy seems pretty weird. I mean, what's up with that mask, helmet, face, bird thing? I thought maybe he was just going for a creepy crow look, but no. This mask was an actual thing that plague doctors wore. But let me get a little back history out. I'm sure most of my viewers are familiar with the Black Plague. To sum it up, it's killed well over 100 million people, and it's gone down in history as the worst disease to have blighted mankind. And these guys were supposed to be the frontline fighters of it. Enter the Plague Doctor.
Okay, so in comparison to the current global pandemic, this video has drawn a very close similarity. So please pay attention to it. Thank you.
Paid by the state, they would go from city to city in an attempt to fight the plague and heal the people who had it. In the 17th century, plague doctors began wearing these long-nosed masks in an attempt to protect themselves from the plague. Doctors at the time were convinced that the plague spread through the air, so the mask was their defense mechanism against it. At the end of the nose...
oh my god, this sounds very similar to the current global pandemic that we are going through right now.
For perfumes and potpourri in an attempt to keep the air purified. It's a lot like how people spray Febreze in their homes thinking it's cleaning the air. It kinda doesn't. By the end of it all, this figure was something that no one was happy to see. If anything, seeing the beaked and cloaked Plague Doctor was a terrifying and unsettling sight. Plague Knight's level theme of horror and alchemy fits the part of the Plague Doctors to a freaking T. Speaking of level design, let's talk about the stage. As a great musician once said,
"Watch for rats, exploding rats, helicopter rats, and wind-up rats. There's lots of rats. Pat."
And as goofy as the propeller-strapped rats and violently exploding green rats may seem, it's actually not too far-fetched. Exploding rats were actually a thing that existed during World War I. Granted, these rats weren't green and, well, alive. The British military devised the rat bomb. Basically, plastic explosives were shoved into the carcass of the dead rat, placed near broilers, stoves, and other sources of industrial fire in German territory, and you basically wait until the unaware schmuck attempt to dispose of the dead rat by tossing the fire. Boom! That would have been one heck of a literal monkey wrench.
A literal monkey wrench.
However, the Germans actually caught on immediately and discovered the first shipment of rat bombs before they could be distributed. A creative idea, but perhaps a little far-fetched. Another massive reference comes from the relic of the level called the Alchemy Coin, which, when used, would turn enemies into even more treasure than you would normally get from defeating them. This is a nod to the story of Emperor Leopold in 1677. The guy was warring against the Turks, but his funds ran dry. A mysterious stranger told him that he could turn silver into gold and would share his mystery with the Emperor for a price. The Emperor agreed, and right before his eyes, the alchemist turned a silver medallion into gold by dipping it in a chemical-filled cauldron. Though you may not believe this story is true, the transmuted coin actually does exist. It currently resides in Vienna, and through every process available without destroying the coin, it's been proved that it is in fact gold, and today science has successfully replicated the process that the alchemist used. Now it's painfully obvious Plague Knight
Science and alchemy. Yeah.
Level revolves around alchemy, from the beaker backgrounds to even the names of the soundtracks.
The vital flower of antimony.
So it's no surprise that this reference exists. And while enemies may not be silver, the concept of transforming something of lesser worth into greater worth is present. And if you really want to get technical, the design of the coin appears to have a Chinese-like character, possibly referencing China's extensive alchemy study that also transmuted bases into gold.
Understandable, and it sounds like way or more.
The last thing I want to talk about goes back to Plague Knight himself. Shovel Knight calls him a trickster, to which Plague Knight responds with his research as being no trick. It may seem a little obscure, but I think this brief bit of dialogue speaks volumes about what Plague Knight is based off of. Plague doctors were paid by the state and treated everyone, but would extort the rich with promises of cures if given the chance. They would trick people into believing false treatments and cures because 1, people wanted to hear it, and 2, people would pay whatever amount they could to be rid of the threat to their lives. See, plague doctors were barely doctors. They had nothing to do with general practitioners, and not even professionally trained. Most of the time, they were either hacks that couldn't cut it in the professional medical world, or they were greenhorns trying to prove themselves. Heck, I found one case of a plague doctor being a freaking fruit vendor prior to becoming an air-quote doctor.
Okay, now that's taking it a bit too far. A doctor? In that?
Like I said, it's one line and it may be quite a reach, but the context here just screams at me in what I've researched. Plague Knight's level, his concepts, his level and battle themes, to be honest, they're all quite terrifying. And that's what this figure stirred in the hearts of people. Terror. The sight of a plague doctor brought with it the horrors of disease, rot, and death. And you can bet Plague Knight and his level hits that theme really hard.
True.
But that's all for today's episode. If you missed the pre-release culture shock that I did about Shovel Knight, you can check that out right here. In it, I talk about how the shovel is far more deadly a weapon than you might realize, and proof from the past and the present. So until then, I'll see you guys on the other side.
Thank you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you do like this video, please remember to watch more of my videos, and if you do like it, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel and comment down below if you have anything to share with us. Don't forget to follow my channel, and I sincerely appreciate all of your support for me and my channel. Thank you so much, super appreciative. But hey, that's just a game exchange, culture talk. Thanks for watching. Thank you. And subscribe.